Now that I'm a high school junior and I've been playing since I was 4 years old, both the grant and the ability to buy a new instrument in a larger size would be a game changer. Um, just hearing what the viola, sounds like when it's at the size that it should be, or a full size, really made a lot of a difference for me, and it allowed me to appreciate the sound of the viola even more. I mean, I'm always told by my other teachers and just conductors that I've been able to work with, and they always say that the viola is an instrument that's trapped in its body, almost like it's an unfortunate um, instrument. And I've started to look at my viola differently because of that. And I started to notice that it was in fact too small for me since I've got it a few years ago, and that there's a whole array of sound that I could unlock if I had a larger size. Since I'm applying to all three of the grant programs, my ability to do the things that I hope to do and wish to do in this next year are definitely contingent upon my receiving of these grants. Um, to start off, I want to continue doing private lessons with my teacher here at school. And as I, grow older and mature and get into higher level music, they become even more, more and more just fruitful. And I get so much more out of these lessons. And so I would really hope to continue doing these lessons and working with Mr. Geiersbach to enhance my viola playing. Um, and along with that, having, like I said previously, a larger instrument that is richer and has a deeper and more, rich sound would also just help me in that same way, and it would help me grow, and it would pair along with my lessons in making me the best viola player that I can be, especially in my upcoming year of high school. And lastly, I am in my school's choir, which is called the Andrian Ensemble. And within that class, we focus on individual vocal instruction, developing my vocal technique, sight singing, and oral skills, along with just better understanding of music theory, and an understanding that I've noticed has helped me greatly, like an immeasurable amount, um, in terms of my viola playing and how I operate in orchestra and in small ensembles and even playing solo. And to culminate the entire experience next year in this class, we will be going on a tour, a concert tour, where we will be performing in another country. And it would really sum up everything that I've done and just make it all have been even more worth it than it already has been, because it's already fed me um itself. But just putting all of my music theory understanding and the sight reading and all of those things, it would just make it even more, like I said, even more worth it. Although I still do and probably will always love playing classical music, and I mainly gravitate towards it, every once in a while I'll grab a few of my friends and we will play like Disney songs or something that I just find on YouTube, where I'm like viola songs, and it shows up and it's like Frozen, or it's like a song from Moana or something like that. And just being able to have fun with my instrument and not necessarily play the music that I'm used to that's so serious. That's just one of the ways that I like to have fun and even put my own creative essence on my music, because as I learn those, simple pieces, I like to experiment with them and make them my own, and make them almost sound like a voice rather than maybe possibly robotic instrument at times, or how that music generally, if it's a very easy song or beginner song, tends to be more robotic. I like to make it more lyrical and just sound more like a voice. And so that's just one of the ways. Another way is that even when I am practicing my classical music, I try to put emphasis and really bring out the dynamics within it, and sometimes I'll play something that's supposed to be forte very forte and something that's piano very piano, and I'll move my body and get bigger and get smaller to just enhance the effect of the music. And that's just another way that I put my creative essence in my music practice. Well, like I said before, I am in the Andrian's ensemble, but of course that is music. But that is just one of the things outside of instrumental music that has helped me a great deal in my journey as a musician. Um, Other things that I do are I lead clubs at school, and I'm a leader within the classroom, and that helps me a lot just because I'm a section leader in my orchestra, and being able to lead in other ways shows me the best way to lead within my section. And even though it's a little different in how you would lead a section and what you need to do, from leading a club or leading a team, it has still helped me understand how to communicate with other people in that way, and to make sure that everyone is having fun, but also understands what needs to be done to make this piece sound the best that we can possibly make it sound. And so that's just one of the things. And lastly, I do a lot of visual arts outside of my music, and it has really helped me in a surprising way with my music. Just being involved in another form of art that isn't the one that I'm, I guess, always involved in has really helped me become a well-rounded artist and understand that there's a patience and a drive as well that comes with being an artist and a musician, and that sometimes you really have to only work on one small spot. If it's one small spot of a painting and you're working on it for hours and hours until you get it to be perfect, and you might go back to it and it's not perfect anymore. You might look back with fresh eyes and it's completely different, and you don't understand how you ever saw that to be perfect. But I think that is a lot like music, because even though you should have fun with it, and I do have fun with it, sometimes you really have to hone in on one bar or one measure, and you just have to work at it and work at it. And you might record it, or you might, practice it and then come back to it, and you thought it was great, but you see all these, small details that you hope to fix. And that's how it's helped me with my music. I think also is shown me that you are, you or me, I am my almost worst enemy or critic, because there are things that others don't hear, even other musicians might not hear or notice, that I do hear and I do notice them about myself. And it's because that's how people look at themselves. Everyone's more critical of who they are. And I think it's the same with art. It's something that you might see a part of what you're doing, of your art, and you might not think it's great, or you might think you messed up here, or you drew a hand and it doesn't really look like a hand to you, or something's messed up, but other people really don't see that. And I think that that's one of the beautiful things about art and music, is that if you take away the rules that we've sort of been taught to set up, you can do almost anything. And even those small things that look like mistakes can turn into something beautiful, rather than something that you would see as ugly. This year, I've just excelled in all of my artistic endeavors, in every way. And I'm very proud of myself, but I'd say it's due to the way in which all of these art forms sort of work with each other, and how I've grown so much, and I've been able to learn from each thing that I do and incorporate it into another thing that I do. For example, this past February, or no, sorry, this past March, I became first chair in the Delaware All-State Orchestra, and it was like a 3-day conference slash festival, and then the performance at the end. And that was definitely a big step and a big ego boost for me, because I went from sort of feeling as if I didn't, I guess, didn't belong, or I wasn't as good as I had hoped to be, or how much my years of experience should have lent me to be. And then, at least for me, that was all proved wrong when I got the email saying I was first chair in the orchestra. Along with that, I've also been in my school's a cappella group this year, which is actually quite rigorous to get into, and I've enjoyed doing that. That's been something I've wanted to do for a really long time, and I finally auditioned this year, and I got in, and we've been doing a lot of performances that they've just been very fun, and lastly, just last year, I received a national silver medal for a drawing that I did of myself, a self-portrait, in the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. And I had won other, regional golden keys and silver keys before, but never in my life have I won a national medal or gotten a national honor. And so I've just grown in all of my creative endeavors, and it's just been like I just want to see what else I can do. I want to know if I'm given the opportunity and the chance and the ability to make these things happen for myself, like I will be unstoppable. I'll be able to do everything that I really really desire and that I am committed to and committed to putting my mind to. And just to think that if that's what I've done in this short amount of time, what can I do in this next year? And I just wanted to say thank you for even having this program because it truly does a lot. And I've been so grateful to have this opportunity. And I hope that I can do something like this for people one day. I actually have plans to, over the summer, mentor a few young African American girls and just kids in general, who aspire to play the violin or the viola or even, any sort of classical instrument to get more people that look like me or look like all of the people that are applying for these grants, to give them access to what they might not even know they should have access to. And just I just want to see more people like me within these orchestras and committing themselves to music in the same way that I did because I was fortunate enough to have parents and an education that gave me this access. But there are so many people out there who don't have this access, as you guys, of course, know with what you're doing. And I just want to give back to my own community in that way and help out a young Black girl who has these aspirations but doesn't necessarily know which way to go.